Yo, what's good? I'm Moo, welcome to the channel too. We have the worst redesigns of all time. There's some bad redesigns out there. Some bad redesigns. There's some great ones too. There's some really great ones, but there's a lot of bad ones. But let's see what they have on their list. Let's tap in
the world. Well, I'm pretty sure, you know the quote, be the change you want to see in the world? Well, I'm pretty sure when it was said, it meant everyone except the people who made the Bob the Builder reboot.
Ooh, wait, he might be spitting. Hold on.
About a month ago, I made the mistake of asking people on Twitter what they thought the worst redesign of all time was, not realizing that it was home to the most passionate Bob the Builder fandom on the entire planet. Because I was spammed with an army of blue checkmarks copy-pasting the exact same tweet about Velma and April O'Neil, as if they're allowed to have an opinion on anything when they literally pay for Twitter, and the other half were porn bots. And I don't want to talk about any of that weak shit, okay? I'm talking about how you can see the exact moment the guy who was designing Mega Man got divorced. As I'm sure we all know, people historically really love change and have absolutely never freaked out and overreacted about things not looking exactly the same for the rest of time.
This show basically kicks Thundercats in the balls, and then it rips the balls off, and then it throws the balls on the ground after pissing on the balls.
Now, maybe I'm just used to it because, like, a lot of the stuff I grew up with wasn't as concerned with consistent character design as it was,
my god, peak Power Rangers.
Harvesting all of my pocket money by selling toys. Like, you know, as a kid whose special interest was sinking thousands of my parents' savings into Bionicles, all of these guys went through, like, a new design every year with gradually fluctuating levels of elbows. So, you know, between being a Power Rangers fan and my absent father, I kind of just got used to never being attached to anything. And now you get to experience what being on a first date with me is like, because I'm going to talk about Ben 10 for 30 minutes. There was not a single miss in the OG show, okay? Every single alien wouldn't be safe to eat because they're all so fucking raw. And then, like, even when they did the sequel series, Alien Force, and changed the entire art style, I still think pretty much every redesign was a glow up, as long as we...
I need to watch Ben 10 at some point. At some point.
We don't talk about Ripjaws.
I'm in no rush.
Then, when they made the fourth show, Omniverse, and changed the entire art style again, they suddenly decided that all of these fucking suck, actually, and went out of their way to redesign every single alien in the entire series, and also retroactively canonize that all of them used to be butt-ass naked. Even the aliens that started out looking the same would show up with the most dogshit redesign of all time a few episodes later. Like, they knew that they couldn't possibly top my goat Swampfire, so they dedicated an entire episode to turning him into complete shit. Like, the ones that got the biggest upgrade were the ones that already look like shit to begin with. Like, when your alien starts out by looking like a red ball sack, the only place to go is up, really. But it wasn't the only show to redesign the whole cast in between seasons, like Jake Long, American Dragon, being another tragic victim of the Ozempic epidemic. You look at, like, the Mystery Incorporated Scooby-Doo gang compared to the series that came out 5 years later that looks like a Family Guy cutaway gag. And wait, before you pretend to go to the bathroom, let me just talk about Ninja Turtles, okay? TMNT's a series that's been around for a while, but hasn't had too many big changes, really. Like, they've had a lot of different versions, sure, but generally they keep looking pretty much the same, like 4 identical turtles who like pizza and want to bang a human.
Do you sometimes wish that April was a turtle?
Oh, bro, I've been trying to talk her into an interspecies relationships for months now.
Whoa!
Until Nickelodeon did Rise of the TMNT, where they made the turtles actually distinct from one another for the first time ever, which caused absolutely no issues with the most tolerant fan base of all time.
Everybody hates me!
No, little dude. Honest.
Hold on. I hate him.
Same thing happened with the new movie they did, where these guys were losing their goddamn minds over the fact that they made April O'Neil not as hot as she was in the original show. Because apparently the only thing that makes good character design to these people is how easy it is to jack off to it. Which, like, don't even look that bad when you look at, like, the Michael Bay ones that look like Craig from Halo Infinite, okay?
I'm not gonna lie though, those were hard. Those looked fire.
Raph looking like Sonic Boom Knuckles isn't that bad, alright? And oh yeah, remember that time they tried to redesign the entire main Sonic cast by drowning them in toilet paper and anabolic steroids? I love Tails, I love Amy, Sonic is also there too, but that Knuckles is not it, bro. And you know, they might not look that different to any normal person watching, but you gotta understand, okay? These are Sonic fans we're talking about.
I want Sonic's arm to not be blue.
It's not like shitty redesigns and cartoons are a new thing anyway. Like, there was this 80s show called Captain N about a dude who teams up with a bunch of NES characters, where in every episode I feel like I'm on the top page of Pornhub because all I'm seeing is so much ass.
Simon Belmont.
Wow.
Kid Icarus. Mega Man? You guys aren't real.
Ew.
It's the exact same thing with, like, redesigned corporate logos, right? Where for some reason every couple decades, any company with a really successful and easily recognizable logo feels compelled to order this contractually mandated downgrade where they piss away literally millions of dollars to suck out all of the sauce until they look like a fuckable and easily recognizable logo feels compelled to order this contractually mandated downgrade where they piss
OG Firefox logo was gas, bro. Fire OG, oh my god.
away literally millions of dollars to suck out all of the sauce until they look like a fucking accounting firm. Like, look at Petco, bro. They killed the fucking dogs.
Oh,
Jack
wow.
unironically hired some guy to open Microsoft Paint and then chuck the default font in a blue square in the corner, which cost them $100 million and then didn't even last a week before they changed it back. Sometimes it's for the best, though. Like, you ever see what the old Ronald McDonald used to look like? What the fuck is that? And I'm not saying that simpler is bad every time, okay? Like, at least the aliens in the Ben 10 reboot are actually possible for 8-year-old kids to make fan art of, okay? Trying to work out how the fuck to draw Wildvine as a kid was definitely responsible for, like, half of my mental health issues. But as a 37-year-old balding depressed man, I'm old enough to have grown up exclusively with all of those, like, creepy-ass British claymation shows that nowadays all have the exact same Cocomelon-ass art style where they sacrificed all of their aura
really
to look like insurance mascots. Like, the new Bob the Builder looks like the before and after of taking 5 years of continuous methamphetamine. But, like, I don't know, maybe these all just look weird to me because I'm a grown-ass man and these don't affect me in any way, you know? Maybe the zoom is...
Oh my god, wait, I remember that show. What show is that? Yo, I remember that show.
You know, maybe the Zoomers who grew up on these ones will think I'm a fucking idiot. Because I like the Skylanders Spyro more than the original, since that's the one I blew my entire life savings on as a kid. And this is the one that looks weird to me, even though his head looks like it's been repeatedly caved in with a shovel. It's still a lot nicer than what Microsoft did to Conquer, okay? I'm always gonna prefer the midlife crisis Spider-Man face to Temu Tom Holland, because that's the one I sunk like 60 hours into. But then we look at movies, right? Which are doing the complete opposite, where for some reason, whenever they adapt literally anything with an already beloved design, they have to turn it into the most overcomplicated, unrecognizable homunculus. Like, you know, the American Godzilla taking the most iconic movie monster of all time and turning it into a T-Rex with bad posture, or basically any superhero costume from the 90s. Now, I bet you've been waiting for me to bring up the Sonic movie for like the 80th video in a row, but nope, I'm gonna be nice this time, okay? Because you know what I think is worse than that? Nothing. Fuck this shit. But easy second place goes to the Power Rangers movie. That Megazord looks like fucking ass. Why would you take one of the most peak designs of all time and then just turn it into a dude, okay? This pasta tastes like shit because there's no goddamn sauce. The designers they get for the Disney live action remakes gotta have like the easiest job in the entire world, because all they have to do is like look up a PNG of an animal and then call it Sebastian. Look at what they did to my boy Flounder. That is literally just a fish. This used to be a really big thing with superhero movies too, back when the Fox X-Men movies were terrified of primary colors and Galactus was a fart cloud. The first attempt at Deadpool showed everyone that removing literally every single defining aspect of a character is surprisingly a really bad idea. There were a lot of choices made with the Jared Leto Joker, and not a single one of them was good. And I think maybe the only consistent thing about the last couple phases of the MCU was them competing to see which redesign can be the biggest drop in quality. MODOK went from this to a guy. The leader went from Green Megamind to a guy. Gore went from like maybe one of the sickest villain designs of all time to a guy. I get like you can't just go completely comic accurate with some of these or that shit's gonna look goofy as fuck. Like I think every Spider-Man movie's kind of crushed it with doing like a mix of their own thing while still being actually recognizable. Not you. Like even in Detective Pikachu, where they basically kept everything exactly the same, still had to make everything overly detailed to the point that it like killed my childhood dream of wanting to be a trainer by making me afraid of every Pokemon in the movie. Same shit with the Minecraft movie, okay? That first trailer dropping didn't give me the greatest first impression when Steve was wearing this weird fucked up V-neck looking thing for some reason. But you know, after watching the movie, like honestly, it wasn't that bad. Minecraft is like basically impossible to translate to live action without looking like a little cooked, so I think they honestly did like alright. They're all still kind of weird if you look at any of them for more than 2 seconds, but everything pretty much looks the same as the game, just with like the RTX filter turned on, which is actually still better than Sonic 06, where because they wanted people to take it seriously this time, they made the art direction more realistic, which basically amounted to just making everyone longer. And even with the game fighting for its life to mesh the aesthetics of like disturbingly realistic people with giant talking cartoon animals, somehow no one got it as bad as Eggman.
What happened to Eggman?
But redesigns don't even have to be that radical of a change to piss people off, okay? Even just changing the shoes on the sexy M&M mascots was enough to cause Tucker Carlson to have a mental breakdown on live TV.
The green M&M, you will notice, is no longer wearing sexy boots. Now she's wearing sensible sneakers. That's the goal. When you're totally turned off... Dude, I want to jerk off! Fuck, I want to jerk off!
You really had to be there when the new Lola Bunny in Space Jam 2 dropped, okay? That shit was like 9/11 for the furry community. I don't know about you guys, but I like change, okay? Unless it's to like global tariffs and my hairline. Too. And so, you know, I would rather a completely dogshit redesign than everything just being exactly the same all the time, okay? The new How to Train Your Dragon and Stitch remakes are like borderline plagiarized, which is why they're both really boring and definitely gonna make like $1 billion. The Donkey Kong, the new Mario Kart, is a massive improvement for how he's looked for the last 5 console generations. Legends. Like, he looks like he's my friend now, and not like he's been holding back 25 years of unspoken knowledge about Cranky Kong's hard drive. One of the coolest things about The Legend of Zelda is that Link looks different in literally every game, and this man has never looked bad except that one time. My favorite example is always going to be the Transformers movies, even though not a single one of these even remotely resembles the thing they're meant to be based on, and also single-handedly caused a mental health crisis for comic book artists. Unless we're talking about every single time they've tried to do Wheeljack, okay? Both the one from the third movie and the one that looks like a walking nerd emoji, because your character shouldn't be so ugly that I'm celebrating when he gets domed, okay? Something I used to love about Transformers was how much they would change shit every time they put out a new show. Like, it made all of these different parts of the franchise feel like really distinct and unique. So naturally they've like gone and made everything look exactly the same for like the last 10 years. Like the series they just put out a couple years ago, Earthspark, that no one watched, has like some of the sickest redesigns in the entire series.
I didn't even hear about this.
3 guys, and then the rest of the cast is still the exact same copy-pasted bullshit they've been putting out for the last 40 years. Okay, but in saying that, okay. So they did the show in the 90s called Beast Wars that doesn't have a single bad design, okay? Every single one of these are bangers except for whatever Gooner they got to do Black Arachnia.
You're not gonna quit on me now, Bowser. Not when I had my nails done and everything.
Then when they did the sequel to it, Beast Machines, they decided to make the entire cast of the show look like spindly sleep paralysis demons. I dare you to try and name me a worse redesign than literally any of these, okay? You can't, because there isn't any. Don't you dare say Ash from Pokemon, okay? At least he actually looks like a 10-year-old now. If you want to complain about anything in that show, it should be about him progressively starving Pikachu to death for 150 seasons. I mean, sometimes it's just about art style, man. Like, I'm always gonna think the classic Sonic designs are way better, except when they're in 3D, where they look like fucking dog shit. As a PSA for any 40-year-olds watching this, first of all, I don't know how you got here, and second, please just cover your ears for a moment, because I think that all of the designs for the new She-Ra are like a million times better, because they actually look like different characters now, and not just the same person 15 times. Arcane was brave enough to ask the question, what if League of Legends designs were actually good? And Marvel Rivals just figured out that the secret to good character design is just to give everyone an ungodly amount of cake. Anyway, so yeah, that's about all I wanted to say. Thanks so much for watching, and I'm getting a second date, right?
This was a good video. This was a good video right here. This was a good video right here. Yeah, bro. Nah, some redesigns, some redesigns are definitely like necessary. W video though.